Adam?
All right, welcome to this uxColor UX Market Flow Google Hangout event. I'm going to jump right into it today. We've got a number of things that we'd like to cover. My name is Adam Kraft. I'm the Director of Marketing with uxColor and UX Market Flow, and with me today is Chuck Daner, the CEO and inventor of uxColor technology. So I've went ahead and put up on the screen here a brief overview of what we're going to cover today, some information about uxColor. But we're really going to talk more generally about uxColor, UX Market Flow, Google Hangout. I'm going to jump right into mute the background feedback. Cover. My name is Adam Kraft. I'm the Director of Marketing with uxColor and UX Market Flow, and with me today. Give me just a minute to mute that background. Inventor of uxColor technology. So I've went ahead and put up on the screen here. Okay. Well,
Hey, Adam?
Yeah.
You're getting some background noise.
Yeah, and I'm not completely sure where it's coming from. There's nothing open that should be giving it to me. So rather than hold things up, Chuck, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get you off and running with the first question that we wanted to address today, which is just a little bit of background information about your background. And what led you to create uxColor and what kind of problems you were looking to solve. So Chuck, I'll turn it over to you while I work on getting rid of that background sound.
Hey, Adam, mute your side and we'll see if it's from yours.
So rather than hold things up, Chuck, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get you off and running with the first question that we wanted to address today, which is just a little bit of background information. If you've got the Google event page open somewhere, that's what's doing it. It automatically starts when the Google event page is open, and it starts broadcasting it. So if you have... All right. Looks like Chuck dropped off for just a second. I'm sure he'll be joining us again. So in the interim, what I'm going to do is show you a little bit about the website. So again, my name's Adam Kraft. I'm going to pop up here and show you the website briefly. Okay, so this is uxColor and UX Market Flow, the website. There's a wealth of information available out here on the website. One of the things that we're going to talk about and cover today are the different products available. So we use the UX Market Flow finance for this finance product for this demonstration. UX Market Flow is the uxColor software pre-configured with international stock market data across nations and asset types. Chuck, are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, I was just starting to talk a little bit about UX Market Flow. I don't hear the background sound, so I think we've got that covered for the time being. My apologies. Yeah. Looks like we lost Chuck again. We seem to be having some technical difficulties, so we'll just roll with the punches here, and I'll continue to talk about the products, and as Chuck comes back, we'll segue over to Chuck. So the second product here that you'll see is the uxColor custom product.
Adam, I'm back with you now.
Oh, okay, great. So I think we've gotten rid of that background sound. Chuck, I was just demonstrating the website, and it talked a little bit about UX Market Flow, and was talking a little about uxColor Custom. So
if you leave that page up, I can talk over this page.
Okay, sounds great.
So uxColor and UX Market Flow, we have three product lines. We have the UX Market Flow products. Those come configured with a selection of tens of thousands of instruments across asset types and nations around the globe. We license that data. So that's uxColor technology. We'll get into technology in just a few minutes, with a catalog of finance data designed for investors, traders, fund managers, portfolio managers. Then we have the uxColor custom products. That's where we link uxColor technology and the uxColor maps into your own data, and that can be marketing or healthcare or social media data. It could be point of sale data. You could have data for say 1,000 products, and you have daily sales data that you get from your scanners, and we can put that in there, and you can watch the patterns in your data and monitor your data by, I think, probably like nothing else can do. We have the UX Market Tracker and the uxColor widget. That's a browser-based version of uxColor, somewhat reduced functionality. And the UX Market Tracker is the finance version. We can license that to you if you are a finance site and you want to embed that on your site. UX widget is we can link custom data into that or public domain data that you'd like to see. And you can use that to distribute data in uxColor maps across your intranet. These products are all uxColor customs, easy to set up, doesn't need any special resources. We're used to working with tables with hundreds of millions of rows. But uxColor Custom can do anything from pick up spreadsheet data, and we tell you how to format your data, and we always have somebody on staff that will help you get started. If you're interested in doing something like that, let us know. It's simple to set you up and see if we can add value to your data. In general, the more data you have, the more numbers you have, the more value we can add. And you don't need special. We'll pick up from your databases or work with your IT staff, or we'll write the SQL ourselves, and we can link into your data. Okay, Adam.
All right, Chuck, thank you. We started off a little bit afield, so let's circle back around to where we were starting the presentation now that I think we're through our technical glitches, and talk a little bit about your background, what led you to create uxColor, and what sort of problems you were looking to solve. A little bit that we wanted to touch on today about color mapping theory in data visualization, and what led you to create this tool. So, Chuck, if you're ready, I'll turn it right back over to you and let you talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I've been working for about 30 years. By training, I'm a mathematical economist. And it started, I was working with a company that was licensing data from the United Nations. And we were licensing social and economic data, everything from national account data to healthcare data to education data. I think we had 14 different types of data. When I first went to the UN, this is in the 80s, the Soviet Union was a member of the UN, and the person I was tasked to write a contract with was a Soviet delegate, a member of the Soviet delegation. So I thought, first of all, he's a socialist, and he doesn't want to do a contract with me, but I've always been around academia, even though most of my business career has been in private industry, and you hear that over 50% of the Soviet delegation in those days was KGB. So I had somebody I thought, well, he's a socialist, he doesn't want to sell me anything, and he could be KGB. So there we had a library of time series. I think we were the first to license from the UN. Eventually I went on from that guy and dealt with the director of statistics at the UN, who was sort of like a quasi-god to me. He controlled data across the world, and he also controlled the IMF data. The big sources of data were the UN and the IMF, World Bank. And we negotiated a contract, and so we had line graphs. We could line graph any data. We could adjust it for inflation or adjust it for size of GNP. But you had data that were in line graphs, and if you have more than 5 or 6 items in a line graph, you lose a lot of distinction. And you'll see in finance that people put maybe 100 line graphs up on a screen, but what you're lacking is the view of simultaneity in the data. And line graphs, as we'll see in just a minute, have a problem when data's in a widely different scale. So I went on from there and I worked at a healthcare firm. I was a senior scientist and I designed their first reference database. What data is important? What do you gather? And the CEO asked me, what would we do if we had 100 million lab values? And I said, well, we'd match patterns. And so that was big data. We did have hundreds of millions of values, and we built a reference database where we started storing it all. And then I worked at a major retailer, another big data. That company had 15 million members on a loyalty card, and a problem there when I was their head of statistical modeling. And you build models where you select people out of that 15 million who are likely. You do logistic regression, something called logistic regression, and you assign probabilities to each person to responding to the offer. You build a model, a profile, if you will, and match that profile against your database. So that's a little bit of the background, how I got into big data. And the problem was that you have all this data, and one of the things as a statistician, I was the bane of statistics is the compression of data. If I build an average, I take 100 numbers and I give you an average, 100 to 1 number. And the only thing that's going to give us is a measure of the central tendency in that data. And it's the same thing with regression. I take a lot of values and I do a regression, and I might have 5 or 6 predictive variables, and I might have 1,000 observations, and I come back and say, here's the coefficient. But I'm basically distilling that data into just a few numbers. And again, it's a huge compression. And so part of what I was doing was fighting the compression that's natural in statistics, and at the same time trying to deal with the problem of line graphs and not seeing line graphs that are in different scales are having issues, or instruments, or time series. This is mostly time series data that are in different ranges, and that led us to work on both color mapping. We also worked with sound for a while, tone and pitch and the duration, and led us to invent uxColor. And what we wanted to do, when we invented it, not realizing what the invention would do, uxColor actually creates a new type of knowledge. Beyond opening up the knowledge and letting you see the simultaneity of the data, it also creates a new type of knowledge, and we'll see that in a few minutes. Okay, Adam, back to you.
All right, Chuck, thanks. That was a great overview and some colorful stories, which I appreciated as well. So let's kind of segue then into talking a little bit about uxColor, and in particular the problems that you just talked about in your extensive background and experience in statistical analysis and data analysis, and how uxColor and uxMarketFlow solve some of those problems with a demonstration.
Okay, I'm having a little trouble getting the right screen share up. Let's see now. Okay, are you seeing? You're seeing a slideshow, aren't you?
We've switched.
Okay, are you seeing now a uxColor map?
Yep, we're ready to go.
Okay, let me show you a little bit about uxColor by showing you a. Let me bring up a slideshow out of our. So this is a slide out of the introduction slideshow on our website to uxColor, and let me explain a little bit about color mapping. So color mapping is mapping numbers to colors, and you have a spectrum. This spectrum is red is relative low, white mid-range, and green relative high. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to build color spectrums and how we build them. And we have 83 data points in this line graph. And what you see, when I say relative, the color is relative to the range of values over this period of time. We call this period of time the color map. We call it the interlace window. And you see that low values are mapped to red, mid-range values mapped to white, and high values mapped to green. And this is, in effect, a heat map style of color mapping. Let me step forward. And now I've added another line graph. And this is one of the problems we had back there when we were doing that UN data. You put line graphs of different scale on the same graph, and you end up with a flat line graph. You can standardize or z-score these line graphs, but then you've lost the original data. And so there's something lost there. But what happens to both a line graph, the lines become flat, and to a heat map style is that all of a sudden you just have data in red or a green value, and so you lose the distinction, and that's why you never see a heat map of time series or stock prices over time. They just can't handle the data in that range, and this is part of why we got a patent is this. And so we solved that problem. The mathematics, the way we assemble the data, the way we color graph the data. Now what you see is that simultaneity in the data is shown as simultaneity in the color pattern. So we see that both of these were high here and both were low here. And we also solved the problem of creating a new type of knowledge, and we can handle with 100 line graphs on a 100 series on a line graph, you've lost a lot of distinction of detail. So uxColor is going to solve that problem. So I'm going to go now, and now understanding, let me go back again and show you that first what we're doing is mapping numbers to colors, just like this, relative range of values, whatever the range is over that period of time that's color mapped. Red's going to be low. We're going to change spectrums as we go through this, but white in this spectrum is mid-range and green high. Let me move this out of the way. So now let's go take a look at the uxColor map. This is a uxColor map, and this is out of the UX MarketFlow Pro product. I'm moving the window here, and this resort light is on because I changed the window, and we'll see doing some sorts. So this is out of the UX MarketFlow Pro product. This is the map. What these colors are telling you, and this is a one-year interlace window, October 7th to October 8th, and you can set the interlace window down here. You'll see me do a variety of ways to set that. This is the issues list. This is showing the issues in the current sort order. As we do different sorts, you'll see the sorts, these will both track together. And so this is a one-year interlace window. This is the SP500 and over 14 years in the Pro product. So 14 years times 500 times 253 days in a U.S. stock market trading day. There's about 1,000,007 data points behind that. And you'll see on our website that we say that uxColor can make sense out of millions of data points. And this is what we mean. So what are we seeing in the colors? We're seeing that the yearly low for this data is back here, red, moves through, and now it's yearly high on the right. This is a daily data stock price map. Each point, let me wake this cursor up, each row is a stock. Each column in this daily data map, we also have intraday map, and we'll take a look at that, is an end-of-day price close, except for the far right, where you have today's value as of the last update time, and this is 12:59. So there is a stock. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can zoom in. Let me zoom in. Move over up to the date. And so now we see here's stocks that are hitting, this is a stock, hitting new highs, 3-day highs over the last few days, October 7th, 8th. Today, at this point in time, it's 128.59. Let me bring it back down. So this is basically now what I'm seeing is the simultaneity in this data, in these 500 line graphs. I can see the commonality across time. I can take this color window, this one-year color window, and I can scroll it back through time. I could go back. There's always cycles. As an economist, we make part of our living on cycles. They always happen. I'm looking now at this is probably March 5th and 6th, 2009, the bottom of the crash. And the reason to go back in time and study patterns in history is to gain knowledge, and with a little bit of knowledge, you gain your understanding. So what I'm looking at now is who came out of the crash the fastest at that point in time. So while everybody else is in low, this stock, this is AutoZone, a counter-cyclical stock. So that's a stock that the economy is in recession and people are buying fewer new cars, they're buying more auto parts, so people will buy the stocks AutoZone, AutoNation have a price increase and they come out fast or first. And so we can move that back in time. You'll see down here, this is the 14 years of historical data. You'll see the interlace window moving across as I move it. I can, if I want to move up to today, and I want to see what are the today's values in the range, how do they stand in a 3-year range. I can just set the color window to 3 years. Now I see that almost all of these stocks are at 3-year highs. What I wanted to show you is down here you'll see that there's both the visible window scrolls and the color window scrolls as I move back in time. So this is a locator of the interlaced and visible windows within the history of the data. Let's go back to a 1-year window. Let me go back for a second. So now we've got 3-year values. Let's go out and use one of the sorts that we have. So these are stocks that, this is a stock, Altera, that's at a near a 3-year low. All the controls for uxColor, each of these maps that we'll see is an independent object. It's its own object, can have its own settings, and it has its own dashboard. All the controls are in this dashboard across the lower part of the map. There's some controls that are also in this right-click menu. What I want to do is to sort to a pattern, and you'll see that the options come up to sort by list or sort by map, and when I selected sort by map, it turns the cursor to a crosshair. I'm going to go up here and select this. I've sorted for Altera. Now I said go out and find me stocks like Altera, And that's what it did over a 3-year pattern. That's a 3-year pattern, and let's bring it up to today, and let's go back to the name sort. So that's a little bit about uxColor. Now, vertical bands we see are commonality in time, across time. And if I go out and I sort this by industry, these sorts, this is the sort menu, and the sorts vary by the type of data. And this UX market flow, they vary by the asset type. If I go out and I sort this by SIC, now horizontal bands are commonality within groups. And outliers within a group jump out at you in the color field. And this is, I mentioned earlier that uxColor creates a new type of knowledge. This is an example. These horizontal bands are showing you visually the commonality across a group. And outliers just jump out. This is Prologis, and versus its industry trend, Prologis is down a little bit more over the last 20 days. I think that's an a global industrial real estate company. And so horizontal bands are commonality across groups, and this could be if you were using uxColor Custom and you had market data and you were had products, 1,000 products, you'd see the same type of thing. So that's a little bit about, if I want to study trends in a market, I'm going to zoom into a narrower color window. Now I'm at 2 quarters. So now red are 2-quarter lows and green 2-quarter highs. And I can scroll up and down. I'm looking at the commonality in the pattern. If I go to a 1-month window, now I'm trying to understand, has the U.S. market hit a local bottom? I wrote a case study a few days ago where I thought a local bottom was hit back here October 1st and 2nd, but clearly it's not. Today looks like it's down across most of these issues. And one thing I can do, these U.S. stock and ETF maps, you can update and monitor the market. I'll leave this SP 500 open on my desktop. And to update and to monitor the market, it could be the SP 1500, however deep you want to trade into the market cap. And expand these. I can go data update. So this value is 1259. I'm going to go out and go data update. Goes to our server. Now it's got a value at 155. And to monitor this market, what's the market doing today? I'm going to go out now and sort this by the percentage change at the right-hand side. This is the change today over yesterday's close, today at this point in time. And now I'm out here looking at this column. I see that Cablevision is up 2.48% today. To get an idea of probably how this index is moving, this is 500 stocks, 500 large cap. I look at 250. I would say that the SP 500 today is up 0.36%. At the other end, I can see that Archer Daniels today is down 4.01%. This other column is the change of this over a period of time. Let me go out while we're doing this. Let me go out and we're going to open up a intraday map. We've seen. So this is the UX Market Flow Pro product. It has commodities and currencies, money and treasuries. We cover 15 different nations. We're going to go out and open up a intraday map. This map the data we've been looking at so far is daily data. We're going to go open up the intraday map for yesterday. This is, let me bring it over. This is the SP 100 issues at 30-second intervals yesterday. And we're looking at the afternoon. And what we found is that this type of homogeneous or common pattern in the afternoon usually precedes an up day. And you can also go in and you'll find something predictive about finding these things, Coca-Cola and Costco. And let's go see what happened to Costco. So this is yesterday's afternoon, and we see Costco. Let me go out and open the SP 100 price map. I wonder what's happening to Costco today. So just go US stocks, open the SP 100 price, opens it that fast. It's on this other monitor. Let me bring it over here. Now let's go out and find Costco. So now I've graphed Costco. What I want to do is to go out and see how Costco is doing today. And so now I'm going to sort this map. This is as of 157. I'm going to sort it by percentage change. You'll see that that highlight stays on, and Costco at this point in time is up 1.86%. So the predictive power of intraday data is pretty strong. So let's get that out of the way. So you've seen me use and use the SP500. I want to get to, I'm going to speed up a little bit because I want to get to the discussion about color mapping and color in general and spectrums. Let's go look at some other data just across nations just to show you what we can do with this. Let's go out and take a look. There's been a lot of news recently about China, and the Chinese economy is weakening, but their stock market isn't. In fact, their stock market is just soaring. So I'm looking at a 1-year value. China has a number of national holidays the 1st of October. One thing I want to show you is I want to calculate the change over this 1 year period. So I'm going to go out and use this sort that's called change by the span. And now if I go out here, this is the column I'm interested in. So Shenzhen is up 267%, and over this year, if I get into the middle of these 300, I would say this Chinese market's up about 23.72%. Now I want to understand the trend in the Chinese market. I'm going to move to a 1/4 view, and this Chinese market is strong. And so this is probably September 30th. As I said, they have national holidays early in the year. And then if I want to move in and understand a more local view, and this is a very strong stock market. And the Chinese stock market, unlike the U.S. stock markets or national stock markets, doesn't have as much institutional investment, or at least historically didn't. Let me go out and we're going to look at one more country. And let's go out and look at India. I have Germany and India, but I want to show you India. India is pretty interesting. The largest election ever held in the world was held in India from mid-April to mid-May. This is probably about May 19th. The results were announced on May 19th, and Narendra Modi won. The Congress Party, the historical Gandhi Party, lost and had its biggest loss ever. And Modi is promising industry and commerce promotion and an industry for all of its citizens, and the stock market has just soared. And so if I go to a 2/4 view, we can see that. All of these issues are up over that period of time. So this is March 31st to October 7th. I want to understand what's going on today. I'll zoom in a little bit more. On a quarterly basis, we see some of the steams come off, it looks like. We see some red values there. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Let's go to a 1-month view. And at the 1-month view, we see that like most world global markets, mid-September, September 24th, late September, prices started deteriorating. So that's a little bit about how you can go out and study markets around the world. In just a few minutes, you can understand and keep track of trends around the world in stock markets. We also have other types of asset types. Here's commodity data. Let me get this to confuse you. This is commodity data. This is spot prices, 60 commodities. What this map is telling me, this is a 1-year map, that over this year, most commodity prices are down, or few are not. And this is milk. Milk prices are up, and that's probably related. This is cocoa. Cocoa's had some high. Cattle is going up. Cattle is up currently, and both cattle and milk are probably related to the drought in California. Let me get this out of the way, and let's go look at one other asset type. Let's go look at some currency data. We have currency pairs. I'm going to bring that over here. It's on my other monitor. So this is currency is quoted in pairs, and so when you see, let's go see what's happening to Russia. Highlight's going to find, I guess, Russia. Okay, there's the Russian ruble to the euro. Can show me that. And so the ruble is just getting pounded. So here's the ruble. Let's move in a little bit. Where did I lose it? There it is. There's the ruble in terms of the euro and the pound and the U.S. dollar. And, sorry, there's a Russian ruble, euro, pound, and dollar. And so a pair price, what this is telling me, this is, as you look at that, there's two prices. And that is the number of dollars that it takes to buy a Russian ruble. $0.025 buys a Russian ruble, and it's at an annual low. Let's see what it's at in a 3-year basis. And the Russian ruble is just way down. So let's go back now. And so we've gone through commodities. And so we've seen some intraday data, and we've seen different types of asset types. Adam, I think I'm ready to go to move on to the discussion about color mapping.
Yeah, sounds great, Chuck. The only other thing, and I'm not sure what context you want to discuss it in, but I'd like to take a look at pattern matching.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sure. Let's go do this. I'm going to bring up let me go back and bring up that 500. So you saw me do this. Let's sort this by name. You saw me sort to a target pattern. And a pattern, when you say a pattern, you have a time specification to it. So this is sorting to a 1-year pattern. So if I want to go out and find stocks, let's go out and find stocks. This is the 500. Find stocks, sort to from a list. Find me stocks like Apple. I'm going to address that issue. And now these are stocks like Apple. So if I go out now and line graph, I'll show you some of our line graphs. And I go out and graph Apple and bring it over. Here's a line graph of Apple. You can zoom in our graphs just by doing this. And so what I found was stocks that were like Apple. If I add another stock that's not in Apple's $102 range, let's go out and see what, I'll show you the problem that happens when you have stocks in a widely different range. Lamb Research, there's WellPoint. Let's add WellPoint to that graph and swipe left and ungraph. So it matched a pattern, but the pattern was over this 1 year period. Well, let me zoom in on that 1 year period. So there I did a pattern match to a target pattern on a 1 year basis. Now let's take that out of the way and let's go to a 1 quarter. Another type of pattern is a lot of trend traders. Well, let's move back a little bit in time. You see me move this window. I'm going to just move this window back here. And what I'm going to look for now, let's go back and sort by name. I'm going to do what trend traders would like to do, is to match to a head and shoulders pattern. What I'm looking at, I'm trying to find a head and shoulders pattern. I should have found this before. I'm looking at the color map. I tend to look at the color map before I look at the, so let's go out and let's take this stock. I'm going to grind graph this stock, and that is CenturyLink. Hold down, swipe left to undo it. Options, remove. I'm going to take Apple and WellPoint off. And now I'm looking at CenturyLink. Whoops, I didn't get Apple off. Let's get Apple off too. And now what I'm doing, what I want to do is I want to look for a head and shoulder. So there, this is what I saw in the color map. I saw this head and this shoulder and this shoulder. And so now if I want to, and I believe in trading, swing trading on head and shoulders pattern, I'm going to go out and sort this map and find other stocks like CenturyPoint. Let me move this off here. And I'm going to go, let's see, I think we've still got it highlighted. Where is it? I lost the highlight. So let me go out and target click from list, CenturyPoint. There it is. Oops, center point. CenturyLink was it. And so now I sorted that map for that pattern. And now let's bring this line graph back in. And now I'm saying I want to find other possible head and shoulder patterns across the 500 issues. So this is in about a $39, $40 range. Let me go out and put something else on it in that same range. There's CenturyLink at the top. That was my target pattern. And I want to find something in its price range, or otherwise I'm not going to see the detail I want to show you. There's one, EMC. And let me bring this back. And now let's zoom in here. So I said go out and find me other head and shoulder patterns like this. And it did. And it said EMC Corp. Let's just sort of zoom in on this period of time that I want to see if the head and shoulder in. And this is the problem that you have with line graphs. So the scale is just a little bit too widely different. But you can use that to go out with the Russell 3000, and you can find a good head and shoulders pattern that you think you want to trade on, and go out and find me stocks like it in the Russell 3000. Let me show you something else while we've got the SP 500 open. Suppose you wanted to say what are the highest dividend yielding stocks in the SP 500 at this price today. It's this simple in uxColor. We're going to go out here and sort by dividend yield. Let me move over here. There's dividend yield. Let's bring it over here to the right. You can move these columns around, and it'll remember your preferences. So Transocean at this price is yielding a dividend of 9.90% at its last declared dividend. So there's the stocks that have the highest dividend yield in the SP 500. I can sort by PE if you believe in trading on PE. And let me go get the PE column. It's here. And bring that back, get back and sort to the top. And so now I see the lowest PE stocks, Pult, Delta. So there's some power of what uxColor can do for you. Okay, Adam.
All right, fantastic. So I put the agenda that we started with back up here on the screen. For anybody that joined us late, here is what we briefly touched on. We're kind of up against a time crunch here because we wanted to keep this within a half an hour time range roughly, and I think we're running up against that. So anything that we didn't cover today or are not able to cover, we do a weekly hangout. I just encourage you to join us for a future hangout, typically on Wednesdays at 12:30 Central Standard Time. And we'll pick up and cover anything that we're not able to get to today. So with what time we've got left, Chuck, do you want to talk a little bit about color mapping theory and how we use color mapping in uxColor?
Sure. And the problem was I didn't have my clock in front of me. So color mapping is mapping numbers to colors. Are you seeing this screen share, Adam?
Yep.
So this is a color mapping maps numbers on an x-axis to colors on a y-axis. So the y-axis is the spectrum. And so you array your data along your x-axis and you bin it. And data that falls in this bin is mapped with this color. And let's go back, get this out of the way. And this is our spectrum. And a spectrum, the way we build it, a spectrum is built from 4 colors, a high, middle, a low, anchor colors, and a background color. A lot of people build spectrums from 2 colors. We use 3. We've experimented with 5. And you specify a number of colors. Our color default our spectrums start out at a 21 color default. Watch this down here. I'm going to add some colors to it, the number of colors. And now you'll see that this apply, and now you'll see a finer gradation down here. And so what you can do, and choosing the colors, and the reason we use 3 anchor colors is we want this differentiation. We can change colors. Let me get this out of the way. These are quick default changes, and I want to show you what different spectrums do for you. So this grayscale spectrum will show you a better view of banding. If you're a wave trader, that might be of interest to you. These spectrums we have there for people who might have some degree of red-green color blindness, which is a substantial part of the population. And let's go back and let's start working with the spectrum. So I'm going to change the middle color. And there's a variety of ways, and we provide 5 different ways you can choose color. The swatches are really the difference, the easiest. So this is red to white to green, and choosing the anchor colors, you don't want too many anchors, and you lose some of the ability to differentiate the change. But I'm going to go in and change that middle color, and let's go out. So we have red and green on one end. Let's put blue in the middle. Okay, and now let's apply that. So not the best choice. That's what you can do by changing the anchor colors. Let's go back and reset that. And so that's how you change colors. One thing I talked about, this is what this data would look like in the heat map style of color mapping. And the problem here is the problem we originally talked about. Google, these are 2 Google stocks. The SP100 actually has 101 stocks in it right now. It has Google and Google L, 2 classes of Google stock that are still trading. Or maybe NASDAQ has stopped trading Google L. And so this color distribution is skewed. And skewed in the sense that you have a lot of values in this red range. If I were to build a histogram, a lot of values in the red range, just a few in the middle, and hardly any in the green. Let's go back, and that's why uxColor has a patent, and this is what uxColor can do for you, is took that data this way. So there's a little bit about the spectrum and building spectrums. Let's go back and look at that color function. I'm going to close with this. And so this is mapping numbers to colors. I array the numbers here, and I array the colors here. And numbers that fall in this bin. This is binning just like you would build a histogram. There's a lot of binning theory. But these are even-sized bins. So this is right now a linear color mapping. And you have between the bin points, you also have a linear map. And we can change this like this. I can say, so let me go out and get a little bit different data for you. Let's go out and open up a map that this might be a little bit more value in. So this is volume data. It opens that fast on this other machine. And if I graph this volume data, volume is spiky data. And so it has a lot of spikes, a lot of extreme values. And what that does in a color map is it skews your color distribution. Now we have a lot of data in the red range, very few in the white range, and hardly any in the green range. So you've got a skewed distribution. If I was to draw the distribution above that, it would be up here, and then it would drop down. So the skew is to the low end. Now I can go out to that color function tool, and I can change that color distribution like this. Let's put some more colors. We have a lot of value down here in the low range. Let's put some more colors into that low range. And now what I've done is I've changed the bin size. This is still linear, but it's linear by these pieces. This piece is linear, and this piece is linear. If I apply that, all of a sudden I see a lot more detail. This is the holiday season. This is a typical in the U.S. stock market, December to January. This is Thanksgiving. These are the day before and after Thanksgiving. The market's closed on Thanksgiving. So that's a little bit what you can do, and that's a little bit how the color mapping function works. You can also do a variety of things. We can set colors to the background. Suppose I just wanted to see high and low. I can turn off colors and just show different parts of the data. So there's a lot you can do with color mapping. Okay, Adam, I think I've gone too long, so I'm back to you.
Yeah, great presentation, Chuck. As long as we're a few minutes over, I'd like to ask you, I can imagine someone could be watching this and thinking, it looks really neat. Can you talk a little bit briefly about, aside from the market data that we use in the UX Market Flow product, what other sorts of data you're either currently partnering with people to look at in UX Color technology, or organizations that may want to reach out, and how they would go about contacting you to see their data in a UX Color map?
Well, contacting is just go to our website, and this is in the domain of our product called uxColor Custom, where we link either public domain or proprietary data into it. And working with retailers. So retailers, you have scanners at your retail counter, and you can get nightly data of units sold by your product. And suppose you have 10 different product lines and 100 products in each one, and you have daily sales data. We can link that into a UX Color map. You don't need any special servers or anything for UX Color. We pick up from your raw server, and again, we're used to working with tables with hundreds of millions of rows, and we live and breathe SQL, or however you want to access your data. To give your data a try, it could be in a spreadsheet. And I think the easiest thing is to come to our site, go into the UX Color custom product, and send us an email. And we'll get with you, and let's get your data up fast for you to look up and see if we can add value. And it's the same thing. So you've got retail data, just like that, or marketing data. It could be, we're also working with a company that runs learning programs. So they have assessment scores for about 3 million people in their programs, and they take assessments at different times. And so you're trying to understand what programs will work better than other programs. And so that kind of data, any kind of time series or assessment data of a person or a pupil over time. You can also do social media data. It could be tweets by, this map we're looking at could be tweets by topic. And you could watch what tweets are trending. So it's also healthcare data, patients or members or providers. I worked in healthcare a lot. And that kind of data, and seeing the patterns based on certain treatments under certain symptoms or categories. And so we work with a variety of types of data, and that's UX Color Custom. Again, it's easy to do, don't need anything special. The important thing is come, let's get your data up, and we'll sign certainly a non-disclosure privacy agreement, and we have secure servers if you want to put your data on our servers, or we can just access your servers and sign non-disclosure statements with you. So anywhere Adam, anywhere you have a lot of numbers, we can probably add value. So come out and give it a try.
All right. Thank you very much, Chuck, for the presentation. I apologize we're a few minutes over, but I think it was really valuable information. I know I enjoyed it. So I want to thank you, Chuck. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Encourage you to come out, give UX Color a try. Go to the website, uxColor or uxmarketflow.com. You can use the UX Market Tracker right now and give that a try. And you get a week free with our products. So you're welcome to try UX Market Flow for a week for free. It's billed on a monthly cycle, so you're never more invested than a single month. And again, if you have other data that you'd like to take a look at in UX Color, this is an absolutely perfect time to contact us, as we're just beginning to look through some various data types and to get your foot in the door early with this exciting new technology. So Chuck, that's it for me. Anything else before we close out?
No, thanks, and thanks for everybody for joining. We are working a little bit with ice core data, and so the unit of measurement in ice core data is 1,000 years. Okay, thanks everybody.
Okay, great. Thank you, and we'll be back next week. Please join us then and share the word. Thanks a lot, everybody.
You're still live, Adam.
Yeah, it says it's stopping. It's in the process of stopping.